What is up, my brothers? It's your long-lost friend here from up north. You guys might have forgotten us, but we're still in Canada, don't worry. But in all seriousness, I just want to say it's a great pride and honor to be here speaking with you, and I just want to thank International for this amazing platform and opportunity, which is sort of what I'm here to speak to you about, is opportunity. To make our lives better and our chapters progressively better. And I just want to tell you a little bit about my chapter experience, as well as sort of a quick elevator pitch on what we've been doing the last couple of years. Each one of us is provided a finite opportunity to really capitalize as an undergraduate member. I find a lot of us rush in sophomore year, sort of leaves the first semester to being an associate member, the second semester to being a new init. And then you're kind of stuck with like about 2 years left after that. And you might be in a big chapter, you might be in a small chapter, but you're not exactly sure where you fall in that. And that can kind of be daunting because it's a really small window of an opportunity to see the true value of the organization that you've joined, and you want to be the force behind that. So today, in this moment, you may have X amount of years, X amount of days, you might be graduating, and it's pretty scary to think about that. And you might have already missed your opportunity to be president. So really, what I'm here to do is ask not what your chapter can do for you, but what you can do for your chapter, and more importantly, your brothers and your future brothers to come. Because graduating, leaving a legacy behind feels a whole lot better than just being a part of it. Former alumnus James Garfield once said, nothing in this world is turned up unless somebody turns it up. And that's really just, for me, means that nothing great in our life is going to happen unless we see the opportunity and capitalize on it. I've always said to my brothers, like, what kind of man would you be if you didn't try to make everything you touched better by the time you left it? When I rushed EU back in 2016, my chapter had recently gone through a reorg back in 2014. Our chapter was sort of cut in half. We were down to about 20 guys. We were about 20 grand in debt. And we didn't really know, those guys didn't know what they had left. All they knew is that they were a small group of guys, but they were a great group of guys. And they kind of had to find their own identity and work through the sludge to get back into good standing at that point. And when I came in and I met these guys, I really saw the true value of what these guys had to offer. And I was totally sold. I wanted to be a part of everything. I wanted to help set up, I wanted to help plan, I wanted to help learn what was going on. And the first moment I had to get into an actual position, I took it when I was a new init. I signed up for Philanthropy chair. And coming out of reorg, we really didn't have much going on. We had been so busy raising funds internally, paying back our debts. And I just thought, philanthropy is a position that I could really bring something to our chapter. And I really wanted to do something that hadn't been done before, at least at our campus. So I spent hours researching on Google, looking at all the other chapters across America, seeing what's going on. And I kind of came across this thing a couple times called Delta Dogs. And I thought, wow, that's really cool. These guys are bringing dogs to campus. Everyone's, loves dogs. They get a picture, they get to pet them. It's exam time, they're stressed, and it's a big relief. And then I thought, what if we could get a sorority on board with this? We'll bring the dogs, they bring some baked goods, some cookies, everybody loves sweets, make themselves feel better. And it really took off from there, But now I'm thinking, where am I gonna get dogs from? So I'm calling the SPCA, I'm calling all these different organizations, animal shelters, and then I realized, I'm looking out my window and there's this program called St. John's Ambulance, and they also have a therapy dogs program. So a couple emails back and forth, and all of a sudden, we've got an exclusive deal with them for the rest of our chapter, that they're going to come in and help us run these events on campus, off campus, at the house, whenever we want to do it. And it became one of the biggest hits on campus. Easily sold out every single year. We've raised a couple $1,000s each time doing it now. And it just really makes a positive outlook on the chapter and in the community. People can de-stress. And I just thought, wow. Here I was thinking, how can I ever make something happen on campus that hasn't happened yet? And how can I put our chapter back on the map? And then from that point, I just realized it's really just about seeing the mountain and taking the first step, reaching out for it. And then, I started thinking, well, what else can I do? And I thought, okay, well, how about social external? I'll be the lead man in anything that our organization is doing outside in the community. And I thought, sure, that's great. Now, I couldn't get into everything that we did, not enough time. But a prime example I thought was really cool was working with other exec positions and making ourselves better. So I reached out to our exec for recruitment. We were a small chapter, we got to get bigger. And we thought, what can we do that's going to separate us, that's really going to sell what we're doing as a small group of guys and trying to compete with these other frats on campus. And we ended up turning our entire house into a carnival. We brought in bouncy castles, we had slushy machines, games and whatnot. Brought a couple sororities in, really got everyone, a little bit loosened up, not so awkward when you go in and meet people for the first time. You don't even know what Greek life is. And it was a huge hit. We had like a 20 people got bids, and it was a great event. And I'm working with my Rush guy, Adam, and we're like, wow, this is really sweet. And we can, work together and make ourselves better. Outside of our scope of work, we can really build on each other here. And then when we went into elections that year, we were going to run against each other. And we thought, what, screw this. Let's just run together. Let's just take this opportunity to keep working on each other, keep building better men here, and we'll move forward from there. And we can't all be the Western Reserve out here cleaning up all the awards, but one day I'd like to see our chapter do that too. From trying to do something different, we're now trying to develop our own guys, trying to make sure that we have people in the right places moving forward, so that one day I can come back as an alumni and I can see Western Ontario up there for every single nomination. And basically, this is more for smaller chapters and colonies that are trying to get their stuff together and move forward. But you might be asking yourself, what can we do now? What do I do with the time that I have left? And I would just recommend that, like anything you want to do in life, just dive in. Be as much involved as you can as possible. Learn every single position and what that brings to the chapter, what that does for the chapter. And you'll really find that your infectious involvement will really start to snowball. And a lot of other guys will see that and want to be a part of it. And then just encourage guys, if they can't be as dedicated as you, try to be as half as dedicated. And then look for those guys that really have those leadership qualities that stick out. And just get together, just start talking, just start spitballing. What do you guys want to accomplish? What do you want to develop from old traditions? What new traditions do you want to start on campus? And then from there, it's really all downhill. You just have to put the right people in the right place. You're only as strong as your weakest member, and to hold each other accountable, set timelines. If we're going to get this done on campus, we need to have this, this, and that set in place, and really just build each other up and don't knock each other down. And from there, once you have those future exec positions, really the next step is making sure that the guys coming up behind you are just as involved. You should be having committees for every single exec, and those committee members should be, walk through everything, teach them what you're doing, how you're doing it, why you're doing it. So that way, when it's your time to go and leave the team, everyone's time will come, that you have an army of brothers waiting to step into the rankings and lead your chapter and put their own twist and their own spin on things of what you've done and how they can make it better or do their own things. And starting a chapter, maintaining a chapter, or rebuilding a chapter is never going to be easy. There's always going to be a mountain in front of you. But you guys wouldn't be in this room if you were scared of a little bit of hard work and a little bit of grinding. So I know that all of us can do that. And thank you very much.